Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all the glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles like Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutation to the Lord's elect. This is the brother Yahweh Sab, and this is going to be an in-transit lesson today through the Spirit. We'll be talking about a couple of topics, and just rolling the Spirit wherever the Lord wants to take us. So, Lord willing, we pray you find this lesson edifying. A topic that was on my mind was these vexating spirits, man, coming out. It seems like now more than ever, we're having a lot of these spirits, these provocating spirits, these agent provocators, family members, people around us that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. For whatever reason, they're causing a lot of vexation to the brothers, to the Akim and Akwath as well, but especially these brothers going out and doing the lessons. There's a lot of provocating and annoying spirits, and we got to just be diligent, and we got to just see them for what it is, brothers, because this is a time and it's a time like never before, and you're gonna have these same people really try to bother you, man. And, bring out some precepts, bro.
So this is the book of.
And bring it out loud.
I want to make sure I'm getting the right verse, but I have it right here, so I want to make sure. So I believe this is Ecclesiastes 1:14. It says, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit." So these people, they're gonna try to bother you everywhere you fucking go. And they're gonna especially when you're fasting. When you're fasting, you'll notice this come out a lot too.
Some people coming around offering you food, and you got to tell them like, "Nah, I'm good," and then they're just offering you, different things. But it's especially with these family members and these people at the workplaces, man. You gotta really understand that the devil works in people that are close by that you have to deal with on a regular basis. Of course he'll work with people that you don't really know like that, but he knows that he can get to these people if they're not grounded in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, which in the most case is rare for a whole family to be that way. It's usually divided amongst the household, as it says in the scriptures, 2 divided against 3, so on and so forth. But me and the brother, we deal with it on a very heavily basis. We got Catholic demons amongst our immediate family.
Yeah, mockers.
You got scoffers, mockers, and I'm sure a lot of you other brothers are going through the same thing. You got
they completely trusting in Esau, man.
Yeah, and ultimately at the end of the day, we got to see it. They're trusting in Esau. They're trusting in the ways of this world. They still have trust. They still have hope in the system that's about to crash, and we don't. We fully have believed that this system is not. It's not right. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24 talks about this world is given into the hands of the wicked, and our family and the people around us can't see that. So let the dead bury the dead, man. We said enough.
Yeah, this is the book of Matthew 10:36, and it says, "And man's enemies, will be the members of his own household."
Yeah, so you're gonna have, your dad or your mom. You might have been close with them when you were back in the world. They might have been, tight with you, but you're going on a doctrine now. You're following a doctrine that doesn't align on that same vibration and frequency. This is bitter. This truth is bitter. We speak a doctrine that's pleasing to the eyes of the Lord, but to the eyes of the world, it's looked at as crazy. It's looked at as wrong, because this world has been so programmed by Esau. Job 9:24, the earth being given to the hands of the wicked, that we see that they can't even fathom the truth. It just doesn't make sense to them, and it doesn't align with them. So for that reason, we got to see it for what it is and depart and keep a distance and be really wise, man. Be really wise in these days. You don't got to get into carnal battles with them, okay? Titus 3:10. You can bring that out right now.
Well, I had something I wanted to
Okay, bring that out, and then bring out Titus 3:10 after.
Look at Matthew 10:37. It says, "Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me." Your mother, father telling you can't be a part of this truth, or you gotta. Because we had our, some of our family members. They say, they said, you gotta stop listening to those guys, and we have to completely ignore them, and they like to bring out that verse. They always like to bring out, honor thy father and mother, but at the same time, your parents, right? It also tells you that your parents not to provoke your own children, and you see that same spirit. A lot of these parents, they act like, matter of fact, they act like children, They don't actually, they haven't even matured, some of these people.
And they're still child. They have childlike minds inside adult bodies, and it's because they were not able to absorb the wisdom that this word truly has to offer. The spirit and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We've been able to be given the eyes, the gift to be able to see these prophecies at hand, to be able to distinguish certain people's spirits and know when to move away from them and when to stay around them. We've been given these gifts, these talents. They don't have that. So you can't be sitting here and saying, oh, well, my family doesn't agree. It's hard. They're bothering me. This is what's supposed to happen, man. They hated the Lord, Yahweh Shai. They hated him. What makes you think that your family's not going to hate you? You're going to start seeing, man, your whole family's going to start hating you. One thing leads to another. Your parents, your family members start gossiping, and now the whole family thinks of you as some guy in a cult. Meanwhile, you're trying to follow the Lord and keep his laws and statutes, and at the end of the day, this is just some of the stuff we have to go through, and it's only going to ramp up even more. So that's why we got to, ask ourselves, is it even worth it arguing with them, trying to debate with them? You got to get out of that spirit of debate, brothers, with these family members and so-called people around us. They want to get in the spirit of debate. They want to warp you into that energy. That's not a vibration that the Lord likes. He doesn't like that frequency. He'd rather you be in the spirit, calm, soaking in precepts and doing these lessons, man. But instead you're arguing and debating with these family members that really don't give a fuck. And they're not going to give a fuck, and you can't change them. Bring out Titus 3 and 10, man.
Yeah, so...
This precept, Titus 3 and 10, speaks clearly on how to deal with these people.
It says, reject the device of man. In the book of Titus 3 and 10. Okay, let's bring out the Ephesians reads. A man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition, reject. So yeah, you tell these people once, you tell them twice. Don't tell them again, because... And we don't even argue with them at that point. And the crazy thing, when you start ignoring these people, they start trying to provoke you. They start trying to bother you again, because they feed off of that negative energy.
There's some people that only want to communicate with you, and realize this. Pay attention to what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that want to communicate with you only in a negative debate spirit. That's all that's their way of being in a natural state, is to argue and debate with people. They've been hardwired to be on this provocating spirit. They had this provocating spirit demon on them, and they can't get it off. And you can only talk to them if they're sucking your energy and they're debating with you and bringing them to their level. You can't get to these people's level, man.
When you don't want to talk to them, then they start, saying, what's the matter? What's wrong?
Yeah, and you warned them. You warned them. They weren't able to understand, and bring out wise as serpents while I'm getting this out. But you try to get them to understand, they just don't get it, and ultimately you being around them is going to only make you get your energy drained. Bring it out.
This book of, that's the spirit right there. It says, this book of Matthew 10:16, right? It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So yeah, we're not gonna put our hands on anybody,
Not gonna act carnal.
You might have urges, crash out, but you have to fucking control yourself. Because then if you crash out, then you're gonna make the people around you look bad, and then you're gonna make the man of the Lord look bad, and then some, Esau might be recording you. You don't even know.
Yeah, there's so many different scenarios, and you ultimately want to just be walking in wisdom, and being wise is controlling your words, being very taking your time to speak. Talks about that in the book of James, bridling your tongue, and that ultimately is what executes the spirit of wisdom, when you're just speaking less words, but it means more. And don't feel obligated that these people around you, whether it be your mom, your dad, because they brought you into this world, that you have to speak to them more, to be a part of them. You could still have respect and admiration without always having to speak to somebody and be at that sort of frequency that I'm trying to talk to you guys about, because I'm sure you brothers know what I'm talking about. You guys have a mom that always wants to fucking argue with you. You have some family member, or even a woman. It could even be a woman that wants to argue with you. And you got to understand that, you know, at the end of the day, this woman isn't what's going to give you salvation. Pleasing your mom and pleasing your dad isn't what's going to give you salvation. Don't get me wrong. We're supposed to respect them. We're not supposed to do everything that they say. They're putting pork in front of us, or they want us to keep abominable holidays. We got to be able to, like, you know, withstand that and not, you know, but I'm, you know, we got to be able to just ultimately deal with them in a wise manner and just act like Clark Kent. You know, when you're walking in and you know that they have this the potential to start going crazy and to start doing things that are sporadic, you know, start holding things against you, like certain pieces of your property, or so be it, or, you know, making certain threats to get you to speak up more, to be more involved in that spirit of debate. You got to just see it for what it is and prepare your spirit. What does it talk about? Preparation. Bring out some precepts that deal with preparation, because being diligent is staying prepared, and it's always being on watch. You know, bring out preparation. KJV Online. See if you can plan for some precepts. It says in the book of Ephesians 6:12, I believe. For roughly paraphrasing, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against spirits, and against rulers. You know, let me finish this precept. You know, so we're going to be dealing with, you know, spirits that can hop on our family members, like I said before. Don't be surprised if Hasatan, man, just makes your mom, or makes your dad, or makes your cousin, or your favorite cousin start bugging the fuck out one day.
They might even take the MOTB.
Yeah, and that ultimately ties into everything we're saying right now, because pleasing them isn't what's going to get you salvation. They can get you so warped up to where they're trying to force you to take the chip. They can try to put you under the rug. They can try to report you and snitch on you. You don't know what could happen to these people, man. Just because they're cool with you now, just because they've raised you up, what makes you think that they can't start bugging out? The spirit can hop on them to bug out. If they're not in this truth, then anything can happen to them. You know, all sorts of demons from the Christian church and these Catholic demons. And you don't think that they have spirits on them? You don't think that they already have things that are creeping and waiting to pop out? So you got to be wise, man. You got to be prepared. Bring out that precept that you just had, Romans 10:13, right?
So Romans 13:11.
Romans 13:11.
Knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed.
Yeah, you know, we've been patiently waiting, man, and enduring, and the salvation is near. Do you see what's happening right now in this world? Do you see what's going on everywhere in the world, man? These prophecies are lining up to the current events that are happening right now. Okay, it's only a matter of time. Before you blink your eye, the mark of the beast, man, the RFID microchip, okay, which is the mark of the beast? Let me make that clear. The RFID microchip, radio frequency identification device, which is going to be like a grain of rice. When that starts rolling out, it's going to be sooner than you could think. You're going to blink your eyes, and the Lord could speed up time faster, and then that's going to be right there.
They said Elon Musk, he wants to bring it out he wants to have it out by 2028.
And these family members, man, we're at the high time right now. We're right in Jacob's trouble, man. It's about to go in full effect. Okay, you know, it's not going to tarry, man. It's not going to wait. When it's coming, you're not going to be able to stop. Okay, so we're in high time right now. We can't just be arguing about fucking who ate the cereal with the family members, or who did this, or who took this. Bullshit. They don't understand, man, these prophecies. If they really understood these prophecies, they wouldn't be spending so much time bullshitting on nonsense.
These people don't even know the word of Yahweh Shemel. Like, they don't even. And the thing is, like, they have this like look on their face of just like an NPC mode.
Yes. And you know, you learn when you come into this, you want to tell your family, you want to tell your friends, you think everybody's going to receive it, but they're not meant to receive it.
You can't tell everybody, because then what does that go into? It goes into casting pearls among the swine.
Titus 3:10. Nobody's going to understand. And not everybody's going to understand. And you come to find that out very quick. You know, you get zealous, you start posting, you start telling everybody, your family members, you start talking about the white man Cesar Borgia and they don't care. They don't care. It only makes their demons stronger, man. And it's up to the Lord to ultimately deliver them and give them the eyes to see in the last moment if He wills it. But we just have to lead by example. Be wise, man. Be calm. Be cunning. Okay, like a serpent. Be cunning, because we're around these wolves. You don't think that that these spirits and principalities can be put amongst our family members, man. These family members that are wolves, that are secretly gossiping about you when you don't know. You don't know what thoughts and intentions they have about you behind closed doors. You don't know what spirits, demonic spirits, hop on them to think stuff about you. These people are wolves, man, and they don't care whether you get into the gates of the kingdom. They don't care about that. They care about what makes them feel right in the moment. They're selfish. You gotta fucking realize that right now. And I don't care if I'm saying it like this. You gotta realize it right now, okay? That this truth is bitter and it's harsh, and not everybody's gonna realize it. So start separating yourself, man. Bring out, do not be unequally yoked, okay? Because that's the problem, man. These family members, they're unequally yoked. They want to eat pork. They want to keep these abominable holidays while you're trying to be holy and separate and sanctified. And you're trying to be, pleasing unto the Lord.
It's this book of 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. It says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?"
What communion does that offer? What does you being around these people, other than in a carnal level? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have to deal with family members for the sake of things that happen in this carnal flesh in the day to day. But what does it give you spending extra time than you need to be around these people for the sake of pleasing them? We're not meant to be here to please man. Okay. If we were gonna do that, we would go back in the world. But we're not supposed to please man. So if your father or your grandfather or your mother or whoever the fuck tries to make it seem like you're the wrong one for not participating in their bullshit, their abominable holidays, they're being around their bullshit ass spirits where they're just fucking constantly vexing you, okay? We're not supposed to be amongst these people, yoked with them, together with them. They don't care. They're not on this vibration. They're not on this doctrine. Y'all gotta realize that, man. Realize that and stay separate from it. Okay, you have anything else you wanted to bring out?
Yeah, this is the book of Amos 3 and 3.
Great precept.
And it says, "Can two together walk except they be agreed?"
Yeah.
And so, we're not going to be, we can't be hanging around these people if we're not on the same page. What's even the point?
Same doctrine.
It's only gonna go for so long until they fuck up or something bad happens.
Because not only in family, but you see it even amongst our people, man. In Israel, man, these camps are completely different doctrines, man. Breaking down the mark wrong, calling on the wrong names.
Saying you can eat raw meat.
This doctrine.
Saying you can. Saying you can. The RFID chip or microchip isn't the mark of the beast.
Yeah. This doctrine is founded on the true names, man. And when you have these other camps and congregations, even Israelites still using the name Jesus Christ, still using the name, using different names, different pronunciations, speaking on different prophecies, breaking them completely wrong, saying that the mark of the beast is the letter J, C on your forehead, or not keeping the Sabbath. That's the same thing that applies with the people that are with us right now in this day-to-day carnal. I mean, the people that we deal with on a carnal level are most likely worse than Israelites, that are in these camps, even if they're speaking wrong doctrines. It just ties back to the point, like, how can you walk together with somebody unless you're agreed, man? Unless you're in full agreement, you're in full unity. You can't grow if you're not unified. If you're not you're not on the same page with people. And it's lucky, I just got a call, so I don't know if that messed up what I was just saying, but it just ties in, man. You can't be around these people, man, and their spirits are gonna just start to come out and cause more vexation. But you got to see it for what it is and be diligent, man. Be diligent as to a good soldier, man, of Yahweh Shai, and bring out that precept, man, where it talks about being a soldier. We're stepping into some place, Akim, but so if there's any background noise, Salakia, but the brother's gonna get the scripture out right now.
So let's see. You talked about 2 Timothy.
Yeah, bring it out. That's what we got.
I want to butcher. Is it 2 Timothy 2?
Being a good soldier.
Okay. Yeah, so this book of 2 Timothy 2, it says the good soldier of Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, endure suffering along with me, as a good soldier of Yahushai. Soldiers don't get tied up in affairs of civilian life.
Yep.
For then they cannot please the officer who enlisted them.
If you're focused on bullshit, is that at the end of the verse?
No, it continues.
Okay, continue.
And athletes cannot win the prize unless they follow the rules.
Yeah.
And hardworking farmers should be the first to enjoy the fruit of their labor.
Yep.
Think about what I'm saying. The Lord Yahushai, Yahushai will help you understand all these things. Yeah, so you go around even like, and it goes to show you, and some of these people is miserable because they oh, you want to continue? You want to continue breaking it?
Yeah, these people are miserable, and the Lord, a soldier. If you look at a soldier, man, in this world, a top level soldier.
Yeah.
He has a mission. He's not supposed to stray off that mission. If somebody comes to him with some nonsense, he's turning it down immediately, and he's keep pushing forward, man, to finish that mission.
He's not on a mission. He's not going out here drinking at the bar.
He's not talking to his woman all the time and arguing with her. He's like, fuck this. I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to complete my reasonable service, and this is our reasonable service, man, to fear the Lord, to follow his commandments, okay, and to do the work, man, and to preach unto the hopeful elect. And we've made it clear, these people have made it clear that they're not of the elect. Okay, they're completely going off, man. These people are going to get destroyed, and we can't be around that. Okay, so we got to be like good soldiers and continue to do the work and not meddle ourselves in all these matters of this world, because that only brings our spirit down. That brings us more in the flesh, and we can't do these lessons. We can't be to the fullest potential with the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, if we're focused on these things. We have a reward that's very close. You got to see that for what it is, man, and sincerely pick up your cross and keep moving forward, man. You don't want to be straying around these people. You don't want to be caught in their judgment. So be that good soldier, man, that has on their full armor and is able to withstand the attacks when they come your way. Whomever it may be that's attacking you. So we pray that, Lord willing, you found this lesson edifying and exhorting. We want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutation unto the Lord's elect. This is Brother Yawasab.
Brother Barad.
To you we say shalom.